Action. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Guys, do you hear that voice on the other side of the mic? Do you feel like you need to introduce yourself?
I mean, I feel like I
No, you
the
don't need
listeners
to.
may not be acquainted with who I am. That's a lie.
Y'all, we have Eeps today,
I'm here.
and you have Betsy. So if you want to hop off now it's your chance.
Now is the chance. You can use this exit. There may not be another one for a while.
They're like, I'm now too far in. I can't turn around.
Turn around, don't drown.
Turn around, don't drown, y'all. But yeah, Eeps and I are coming to you today for RHONY.
For the RHONY. Well, I mean, look. Just maybe because I'm trying to stave off talking about RHONY for as long as possible, there is something that I need your opinion on.
I'm hoping that it's what I want to talk about.
I mean, Taylor and Travis.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Great.
I didn't know who was going to bring it up. Honestly, Eats and I are kind of have like an off contest stare. We're like, who's going to bring it up? Who's going to talk about it?
Who is going to talk about it first?
Because actually, we haven't really talked about it
We
at all,
haven't
which
really
is
talked about
unusual
it.
for
Anything Taylor related?
Yeah.
For the three of us not to talk about?
Correct.
Yes.
And this happened on Sunday, so it's been a couple of days.
Uh-huh.
I want to know what your initial thoughts were.
No. I brought it up first.
God.
You see, this game of chicken that we were playing, I veered first, so
She is
now
an
it's on you.
executive. Okay, and here I am in the learner's seat. I was a little taken aback. I got to be honest. I will say, I think Lauren texted me. She goes, Taylor, the one and only Taylor, is going to be in the booth at the Kansas City game. And I think I responded, I said, where are the pictures? And then literally, no joke.
There were pictures.
Well, granted, I was about to start watching the Cowboy game, which was a fucking disaster. So I was very...
How'd you guys do?
Oh, it was just horrific. It was terrible.
I mean, was it as terrible as the Jets game? I don't know.
I mean, it was bad because the Cardinals were one of the worst teams. Or guys, it's 3 weeks in, so we can't be having these overstatements, but they were terrible.
Isn't it the plight though of the Cowboys that the second you guys are ranked is like you're the Super Bowl contenders after week 2.
Yes.
You trounced the Jets. Now you are going to go the way, and then it's like play one of the worst teams and you lose.
Yes, we looked just terrified. Now, I will say we've had injuries. So the injuries are going to be getting to us. We had 3 of our offensive line out, and then unfortunately, Diggs is out for the season.
He's out for the season.
Yeah, he got injured during practice. But
listen, you're talking to the right person about injuries and terrible offensive lines, which I'm pretty sure we're still ranked number 32 of 32.
Yeah.
But,
y'all are probably bottom of the barrel.
I feel your pain.
But I was happy to have the distraction. But what I will say is I was a little caught off guard. I was like, oh, wait, this is actually happening. And of course, guys, if you know me at all, you know that my TikTok is only Taylor Swift. I mean, I have a few other things in there, but it's pretty much all saturated in Taylor Swift. So after this happened, it was pretty constant that I just kept seeing like the same 2 clips over and over. So I was a little bit like, wow, okay, this definitely feels intentional. Now my first thought, which I'm sure is not many people's thoughts other than maybe people that live in Philadelphia, I was actually really, really excited to see Taylor in Chiefs gear, only because that means that she's not a serious Eagles fan, which I've always kind of speculated that she's probably not. I mean, I know she wants to give them some, attention, and she'll wear a shirt here and there because she technically spent some time growing up in Pennsylvania, and fine, that's all well and good. But I could spot her from a mile away. I said she doesn't really care.
None of that was wishful, hopeful thinking either, though, because you are
yes,
sworn rival enemies.
Yes, I am obviously a diehard Cowboy, and eventually, when I meet Taylor, we need to not have so many boundaries in our way. And now I feel confident being like, she's not really an Eagles fan. So that was honestly delusional. My first, like, oh my God, I'm so...
Right, she could have gone for the other Kelsey. Which would have been a problem.
He's married, but yeah.
Oh, well, that would have been a problem too.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
But yeah, so that was kind of my first overall initial thought. But I want to hear what you have to say. I don't necessarily believe that there's anything really serious happening here. I'm kind of leaning that it is a little PR situation. Maybe they're kind of friends. I don't know. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of TikToks. Guys, I don't do any of the work. I just listen and I watch. So I have a lot of theories, but I do want to know what your thoughts are as a fellow Swiftie.
Yeah. Well, look, I will say this.
And a football fan. Our worlds are colliding.
Our worlds are colliding. Look, I got no problem with the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs a lot as a team. I rooted for their success in the Super Bowl.
Thank you for your
very
service.
much. It's on my bucket list to go to Arrowhead Stadium and watch a game. I I was a little. I think it's a little. I don't know. I think it's a little weird. I feel like, especially given that when Taylor played in Kansas City, and then Travis came out and said, like, I tried to tell Taylor that, like, give her my number, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, the friendship bracelet with his number.
Bracelet with his number.
And
that's
what
it was.
Butthurt. Is what he says.
Yes,
because she did not accept or she ignored or whatever.
Yeah, she did not respond. And I do think that there's probably a PR element to this.
There always is.
There always is. I don't hate it. I just find it a little odd. I don't know. I think the pairing is a little weird. I don't think just because Taylor is seen out with somebody that it means that they're betrothed.
No.
I don't think it means that they're in some serious relationship. I think they probably hung out a couple of times. And he invited her to come watch the game in his private box. I don't know.
With his mom.
With his mom, which was, that's hey, it is what it is, right? I'll just leave it at that. But, I don't think it's necessarily that serious. Now, did you see, it was on Dumois, someone sent her a picture of what they claim to be the sheet of paper that someone of Taylor's team wrote for her. And it's like tips and rules for the game. There's 11 people on either side.
No,
cheer loud when
way.
the Chiefs are on defense, but not on offense. Wait,
I'm
going to send this to you.
That is so offensive for Taylor. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely.
Look,
listen, I believe, I'm getting heated. I believe that Taylor is like a fair weather fan.
Sure.
Again, she's wearing Chiefs gear when she says she's an Eagles fan. The Chiefs beat them in the Super Bowl. If I'm doing that, if I'm a diehard fan, I'm not fucking doing that for anybody. But
and I'm not right. I'm not wearing a Patriots thing for anybody.
Sit here. I don't think Taylor watches, like a Sunday football ticket and goes crazy and has fantasy teams. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Taylor doesn't know what defense means, what offense means. Okay, listen, end zone, cheer. Interception, boo. Absolutely not. And also, did you see the game they were watching? 40-0. Come on.
It was absurd. I'm going to lean over. I'm going to show you this.
Okay. Is this real? Okay.
You can scroll one more to the left as well.
Taylor Swift's notes from her team on all things Chiefs. Okay.
There's also, it's written in bubble letters, like, a high school
Louder
or a
when
middle
Chiefs
school note.
on defense. Less noise. Okay. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, you don't need this piece of paper because I don't care if you've gone to a single football game, sporting event. Once you go, I'm going to tell you what happens. The big old Jumbotron says, quiet. Offense is at work or on defense. And it's like, get loud. So we don't need you to waste a tree with this paper and write, hey, loud on defense. Blah. No, I don't need that kind of bullshit. Absolutely not. 11 players on offense. She doesn't need to know this shit. I have more respect for her than this. That is horrific. But she did go crazy.
There's famous Chief players.
Oh, God.
1, Len Dawson, QB. 2, Derek Thomas, LB.
Now, she probably did not need to know that information, but she probably did not know that.
Also, at the bottom, there's something that's tight and Travis Kelce, and then underneath says best hair and then it gets cut off, and hair has a double line under it.
Okay, I can't. Now, I think there was so much noise around this.
Yes.
Because I saw, again, so many TikToks of people that were like, what the fuck, that were like right next to her and they were like panning their phone up. And, you get these like great insights where like you see her like picking up trash and she's like cleaning up after herself, which is like so endearing.
It's adorable.
You know what I mean? And then like, I will say, as much as I love her, I watch her cheer and I watch her clap and I remember, she's just kind of a nerd.
She's kind of, I know.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like she has this super awkward clap and like she has
awkward energy.
She does. She's so awkward.
She's so awkward.
But she's just so, she's just very endearing and just.
It's adorable.
It is.
Did you see how she left the stadium? Not in the car with him, but how she actually got out of the main space?
With him or I saw them walking. No, so I did not see that. I saw the video when they were walking together and that was super awkward.
Well, it was a trick that she learned on her tour.
Oh, she left in the trash can?
She left in the popcorn
God bless her.
Container, like the
God bless her.
The little cart.
I absolutely I love it.
She's like, wait, I know what to do. Guys, I've got this one.
One of my favorite TikTok trends that I see is like people just like walking around the mall and there'll be like a mop car and they're like, there's Taylor. And it's just like all these random, I just love that kind of shit.
A slew of Taylor sightings of people with like holding, the trash can, the recycling bin,
and they're like,
the mop cart.
Taylor's in there. We didn't know Taylor was in our city right now. But yeah, guys, during a very dark Sunday, since my team was going down, I honestly turned the game off and I just hung out on TikTok and I watched almost the same feed over and over and over and over and over again. And listen, people, as everyone always is with Swift, people are totally split, which, whatever. But I definitely, they have awkward energy.
They also do.
No, I think that there is a theory that like, we don't know, obviously, guys, unfortunately, we don't know Taylor Swift, as many of us really don't.
True.
But we don't know if they've had any actual conversations or
what their history is.
Or if all we can take is what we publicly know, which is that he tried very, 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 very fucking hard
to get her attention.
to get her and to get the clout and all this stuff. And people either are like, oh, how admirable, or oh, like this is gross, and like leave her alone. So people are split on that.
Yeah, I get that.
Now
they're also the same age. They're born the same year. They,
yeah, and
I don't think anything that I've seen of Travis Kelce outside of the Taylor of it all, he seems like a cool dude. Like he doesn't seem like
he seems kind of gross. But
you think so?
Yeah, but guys, what I will say about this woman that I'm very in love with, she does everything that kind of benefits herself. So there has to be something going on for her. And what I know after, 18,000 hours of the TikTok watching, of course, we know that she has her movie coming out, the tour movie.
She announced that it's global today.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. He apparently has a documentary on Prime or some shit.
Oh, he does?
News to me.
Oh, well, there you go, guys. There you have it. Mystery solved.
Guys, she shows up to the stadium wearing the Chiefs gear. Which to the Eagles fans is a jump scare, which I think is hilarious. And he leaves the stadium because, they always have their outfits picked out, right? So he knew that she was coming. He leaves the stadium in what people are calling the 1989 bedroom set because it's the 1989 colors. And it's a onesie.
Shit.
The colors exactly match the 1989 background, I guess. So they're kind of wearing each other's colors. They're representing each other's things. Mm-hmm. And then they have that very, very awkward walkout, which I love it. Because people are like, has Travis Kelce ever dated a woman? Has something ever?
Has he ever had interaction with another human being?
Now, this is my last piece that I'll talk about before we move on.
Okay.
Apparently, the car that they drive away in, there's no license plate. And the picture that they have on the car, on the street is a dead end. So it's almost as if they get into this car as a prop.
Wait a second.
And there's actually nowhere for them to go. And I saw one video. Everything else has been still shots. But I saw one video of them like getting in. And this girl's like, oh my God, that's Taylor. She's famous. She's famous over there. She gets in. And they're literally sitting in this the convertible for I don't know, 2.5 minutes. And they finally kind of slowly drive away. It just felt kind of like a movie set.
By the way, yes, it did.
So I didn't realize.
I didn't clock that they were on a dead end street, but they did sit there for an inordinate amount of time.
For a while, and y'all, Taylor Swift's security has to be the best in the entire world, and so for her to feel comfortable getting into that convertible, it had to have been very, 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 very well planned out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not going to go into she might be dating him. They might like each other. They might be friends. I don't know about all that. I don't really care about that much speculation on that. I don't think this was something that just happened organically. He invited me on a Friday and I said yes on a Sunday. Everything this woman does has to be meticulously planned out.
That's just
because
who
she unfortunately doesn't get to live, which is very sad. She doesn't get to live a life that's free like that.
No,
so for her to show up
spontaneity
to this event, there has to be other things that were planned. So I think it's heavy PR, but listen, I had a lot of fun watching her on the sidelines. The NFL is, capitalizing on it. They changed their Twitter, everything else to Taylor Swift was here.
I saw that.
Oh my God, Greenie was talking about it.
I missed Greenie talking about it. I didn't watch Get Up on Monday.
I didn't either because I couldn't handle the cowboy. I didn't want to listen to the cowboy talk. So I watched it this morning and they're still talking about it this morning.
Oh boy.
They're doing a bunch of puns like, ooh, Taylor Swift showed up in the blank space, and you know what? If the Bears lose to blah blah, they're never ever going to get back together. I'm like, okay, I can't do that with all these
enough of that shit.
With these men that probably look down on Taylor, but now they're trying to celebrate her. But you know what? If anybody can take over the NFL world, it's Taylor.
Yeah. Well, there's also I've seen some references back to another pop star who got flack for dating an NFL star, which is just exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God.
By the way, I had forgotten that she dated Tony Romo, your favorite human on the planet.
Horrified.
And I was like, wait, I think, and then I looked up and she married some other NFL player whose name I'm forgetting. And it was Lauren who was like, no, I'm pretty sure she dated Tony Romo.
She did.
And then she 100% did.
You know what? She got such bad flack for that because they're like, she came in and ruined his game. Y'all, Tony
Romo ruined his own game.
Tony Romo was terrible. So, and they didn't even date that long. But yeah, she got a lot of flack. And, you know, and I did see a few things, not many, but I did see a few things out there like, great, the devil woman's here. So if our team starts going down, we're going to blame her. No. That's not how this works. Okay?
No.
But yeah, so very, very exciting.
It was an eventful Sunday.
Our worlds collided in the best possible way. And I don't know, you know, I like to bet, but I actually don't know that I would bet if I will see her again. What do you think?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I don't. I think that
that's kind of how I feel too. Like I would be really I was surprised the first time, but like if this happens again, then they're really, really trying to push some type of narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or okay, so here's what I think. I think on the off chance that from this PR stunt, they actually start to like each other and hang out more, then we might see her at another game. But if it is just the PR stunt that we're kind of speculating that it does tie into, then I don't think we will.
Yeah, we're not going to see her again.
But like, watch. They went to dinner, right? And there wasn't a lot of footage from it. I read somewhere that like it was a relatively like low key restaurant. They had a nice time. If they actually hit it off and like they start hanging out and they actually start to like each other, then okay. But they're not there yet. They're not like no one's getting engaged. No one's looking at wedding venues. This is just not.
Yeah, I don't see it, and I kind of hope that it definitely doesn't happen. But
yeah.
You know, I did see something funny where they're like, guys, she finally gets to be the little girl because, you know, she's so tall. They're like, she's finally not going to feel like the monster on the hill.
Oh my God.
Because he's so tall. And they're like, she can be the little... I'm like, okay.
She can be the little version of herself, an anti-hero.
Yes.
God, people are just too much.
Well, yeah. Anyway, but that was the most exciting thing that has happened.
Yeah. Well, some new Taylor content definitely helps, you know, the pain and suffering of everything else that happened on Sunday in our lives. Real. Well, speaking of wedding and, you know, maybe bachelorettes or things like that, I have to ask you your opinion on something.
Okay.
So I know you and Lauren last week were talking about like Lindsay still going on her bachelorette and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, and Sam from the cast also was there. Now, have you heard of this happening or have you seen this yet? That Sam apparently went onto Instagram and posted a story asking people, the general public, to donate for drinks for Lindsay on her bachelorette and gave her Venmo. Sam gave her own Venmo info to...
Hers or Lindsay's?
Hers. Okay. So Sam posted a story on Instagram with her own Venmo.
Okay.
And asking people to donate to buy a cocktail for Lindsay for her bachelorette. Have you heard about this yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I don't. Lauren may not tell you this. I don't follow any of these people. I follow very few of them, so I have not seen this.
I know you follow the Below Deckers.
I do, and I have not been able to donate money to them yet. So, I think that's really tacky.
Right?
I don't. We know that Lindsay makes a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
I think that's tacky.
I think that's so fucking tacky.
To me, I would think it's... Here's the thing. I understand that the marriage isn't happening, but like when people get married, like I know that it's kind of normalized now. Instead of giving a gift, you can donate like, hey, $50 to like get a drink on your honeymoon or like get a massage. That I think is totally fucking fine. And I've actually done that for a few of my friends.
Sure.
But this is like, hey, donate a drink to a trip that you weren't invited on, but give me a drink so I can have fun, even though I know that you make good enough money. You're going to be okay. Why should I need to donate $10, $15 for you to get a drink when you didn't even want to invite me? You know, and obviously these would be people like us that don't know her.
Correct.
But I mean, I don't feel inclined to do that. I'm sure some people that are big time fans maybe donated some money here and there.
I'm sure they did. But like, why the fuck are you asking?
I think it's tacky.
I think it's really so gross.
I do.
I think it's so fucked up.
Yeah, and it's weird, and Honestly, I would have more respect if it just came from Lindsay. Guys, please donate me a cocktail. I really appreciate it. I'm down in the dumps. I feel like shit about myself. Please donate. I would donate to that. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, let me give you $5 and go get a bottom of the shelf tequila shot.
Yeah.
But Sam doing it? No, I don't. I mean, it's just tacky all the way around. But especially coming from like third party, no.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So did you donate?
Fuck no.
Okay, just checking.
I gave everything I have. All of the drinks, Lindsay. No.
By the way, listeners, please donate us a cocktail.
By the way, if you want to donate a cocktail to Reality Bites.
So inclined after my rant, guys, please donate a cocktail. It's not tacky when you do it because, guys, we don't have any money, okay? Okay, thank you. Well, actually, speaking of cocktails, before we get into this diabolical episode, I do want to shout out a few people that have given us some cocktails, okay? Take that, Lindsay. Just kidding. I'm sure Lindsay got like 5,000 cocktails. But listen, for us, I want to give a shout out to Brittany, Alex W.
Thanks, Alex.
Holly. Kai, let's see. I don't know. Ki.fall 5061.
Thank you.
Sorry if I mispronounced that. K-Mac. And Amy Seeks the Truth. You can't handle the truth. Here we go. Aaron's a bitch. Just kidding.
That is the truth.
Guys, thank y'all so much for the donations. We really appreciate it. And listen, we do need a drink every now and again to get through Bravo and to get through everything else in life. So
yeah, especially Bravo with this show.
Especially this show. Mm-hmm. But yeah, shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Deep breaths.
Okay, here we go.
Hey y'all, welcome to Reality Bites, the podcast where we'll deep dive into this week's buzziest reality TV and pop culture happenings.
I'm Betsy, and while I may be 9 to 5 by day, I'm a reality connoisseur by night.
And I'm JJ, a reality TV producer by trade, but my favorite pastime is dishing unfiltered dirt and behind-the-scenes scoop. We'll tackle the biggest and best water cooler moments of the week through an insider lens you won't find anywhere else.
Buckle up, buttercups.
Please don't tell me it's about Tom.
It's about Tom.
This is Reality Bites.
Okay, so guys, look, I haven't done RHONY with these guys in a few weeks, and the last time I did, I made a mistake that I'd like to issue a correction for on air, live in person. So, okay, here's the thing. I feel old now because when I watch TV, I watch with the closed captions.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just
you
easier.
and Lauren do that.
We both do it.
That's a similar quality that I'm starting to do myself, which I'm very upset about.
So, but it does come in handy sometimes,
it does.
Especially on certain shows, definitely like docusoaps and Housewives, because when there's a lot of over talking, you can get a sense of what was said, and
it's easy to miss.
It's easy to miss stuff. Now, what I hadn't accounted for was that the closed captions would cover up some of the lower thirds, that the graphics, like, you know, someone's name who's being introduced or what they do for a living, or say, for example, a flashback where they put alternate universe scenario. So the other episode, when we were talking about it, I think it was the first episode of the trip, and Jenna's getting lambasted for her real name being Judith, and doesn't that feel like a million years ago, even though this is the same
I'm like, where are we going with
fucking
this?
trip? Well, when I'd watched the episode, they do a flash to Jenna bringing it up, saying her name is Judith at I was going to say Friendsgiving, wrong show, Brinsgiving episode.
Oh, okay. I remember this.
Right. And I thought that was true. I thought it was something that was missed that the editors probably found, and it was like, this is a golden nugget. So I brought it up. And I led Lauren into this because I think that she was confused and thinking that I was talking about a different time. But it was me. And when I went back and watched it, I realized I took the closed caption off when I went to rewatch it because I think y'all had gotten a DM about it. And I realized that I totally fucked up. I totally missed that this was an alternate universe scenario of what would have happened had Jenna brought up that her name was Judith at the Thanksgiving table. And I ran with it as if it was fact. So guys, listeners, Betsy, I'm sorry for denigrating the respectability of Reality Bites. And I will be recusing myself. No, I'm kidding. But I am sorry. I have to acknowledge that I missed it, guys. I missed
just
it.
Such a Marvel fan. She just really wanted it to work out is what happened.
I really did. So I had to at least put that out there.
Yes.
Correction
Thanks
issued.
for saving us. Guys, here at Reality Bites, we take accountability, okay?
We do.
We take accountability, which is something that some of these women don't know how to do on this show.
No, really? Mm-hmm. Who could possibly not want to take accountability?
Well, we're crying and we're screaming.
Oh, God.
And we're elevated. And we are Erin.
Erin is problematic for me. Mm-hmm. Erin's a little problematic for me.
And you and I think both at the beginning of the season with the trailers and stuff, and even the first episode, you and I both were like, I think we're going to really like her.
It's so disappointing that it went, we just read it so wrong.
We did.
So wrong.
But we knew that she was going to be kind of a bitch, but we just thought it was going to be different. Like it was going to land much differently than how it's going.
Correct. Look, we love a good bitch on a housewife.
Yeah,
we love that. But there's a good bitch, and then there's like an Erin bitch. And it's the lack of accountability. It's the ability to dish it, but not take it.
Correct.
That is where she's going to lose me every time. I even found her a little more likable in that one moment in the episode where she's like, fine, I talk shit. I did. I'm like, okay, but do that all the time. Just acknowledge it.
Right.
Be able to see things from someone else's perspective. But yeah, she's a problem for me because of this.
She can't do that. And she only admitted to that once Uba said it over and over and over and over and over again. She's like, fine, I do. What gave it away? All the women talking about you in the hot tub that you talk shit about them? Is that what gave it away? They're bullying me. They're being abusive. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I couldn't deal. So, we pick up with the continuation of Sunglass Gate. Okay, so what's your take on this? Do you think that Uba is justified for having the reaction that she is? And taking the sunglasses off her face and being like, I want you to look at me. I understand that sentiment, but the action of it all. Or do you think that Uba's in the wrong here? What's your take?
Oh, no, I don't think Uba's in the wrong.
Okay.
Listen, I get it. Getting in someone's space and physically taking sunglasses off the face, I can understand that might be crossing a little bit of a line. But I don't really believe that Erin felt like super violated or that she felt scared or anything like that. She's going to use this as an example on how wrong she was treated. But a lot of this, and I think this came up more for me a little bit later in the episode, but I just feel like this could have been avoided if we wake up the next morning and we see how Uba is reacting and Uba is ignoring you and you might start feeling a certain way. And I think where Erin got it wrong, which is every episode, but with this episode specifically in this event.
Yeah.
When she realized that, like, oh, this isn't going well, like, she's not seeing it as a prank, instead of doubling down and being like, oh, well, I just got you back. Like, no big deal. I got you back for what you did. And by the way, I gave your phone back to you 45 minutes later. And instead of doing that, what you should have done is, Uba, I'm sorry, like, obviously this hit the wrong chord. I was just doing it kind of as a light joke. I apologize.
Yeah.
I think if she had done any rhetoric of that, like, I'm sorry, this went the wrong way. This wasn't my intention, but I can understand that this went on too long, that you need to have your phone, X, Y, and Z. I apologize. I don't think we would be getting the reaction from Uba that we're getting.
I agree.
But you're messing with somebody's phone, and then you wake up and you have no remorse, and it's your fault. It's your fault that, why are you overreacting? It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a prank. So no, I don't think Uba's overreacting at all. I mean, listen, taking her sunglasses, and to me, my favorite part was when she took the sunglasses, put them in the bag, and Jenna goes, can she get them back? Nope, 45 minutes. I'm setting a timer.
Serious?
And she literally set a timer. Guys, so childish, right? So childish and juvenile. But listen, what are we here for? She's fighting Erin with the same thing that Erin did to her. And guys, Erin had a problem.
Erin had a fucking problem.
Are you serious? Are you for real right now? Like,
here's my thing. Erin was acting just as childish as Uba was. Was Uba childish for taking the sunglasses and setting the timer? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I don't need is Erin in the chair commenting that this is what like my kids do. My kids will, you know.
Right.
Because that puts her in a self-appointed place of superiority where you're not. You actually started this.
Correct.
So the lack of any sort of self-awareness, the lack of accountability. And I agree. If that morning, even when she was like, Erin felt like she didn't do anything wrong, seeing that Uba was upset before it escalated, I think it would have gone a long way. It would have diffused the situation.
Yeah, I think so too.
And instead, it led to just snowball and just kind of explode into other realms because then everyone eventually is like, wait, I have an issue with Erin too. Erin has said this. Erin has done that. I mean, we'll get to Jessel, but that's
The burn book.
the fucking
Or the burn phone.
the burn phone, the burner phone. I want to see what's on that list.
God love her. But yeah, just very silly. And I'm going to be transparent with myself because I have a certain disdain for Erin. I think I nitpick things that I might not nitpick if somebody else was doing it. So
Fair.
I want to preface that before I say this because I think it might be juvenile, but in the chair, as y'all like to say, you and Lauren,
in that dreaded chair.
she says twice, like, I really love this girl. And it just rubbed me the wrong way on how she was like, this girl. Just say that you love Uba. Why can't you just be like, I love her. She's my friend. I love this girl. And I just like, it made me feel like, oh, you don't love this girl. You're not even very friends with this girl. And like, if you hear Uba say it, Uba just always like, well, I love you. I love you too. You're my friend. I don't know. It just
That's interesting. I actually didn't clock that, but now that you mention it, there is an impersonalness to Erin where she tries to seem like she's so close and so connected, but then also will use this rhetoric where it's like,
this girl's my friend over here.
it's just weird.
Who? Yeah, and again, it's something that I pick up on because I'm looking for reasons to just
Sure. By the way, I
drag
think,
my heels.
and you're being self-aware in saying that, unlike Erin in a lot of what she says.
Thank you.
But I think there's also maybe a superiority thing in that too, where she always kind of she enters every conversation, every situation with this air about her that she is right, that she is. Maybe it's not conscious, but that she is better than, or she is, her feelings are more valid, or, just any of that, really.
Yeah.
And by saying this girl, it kind of keeps with that same theme. It kind of keeps with that same tonality of, disconnection. This girl.
Yeah.
She's really insufferable. Mm-hmm. She's getting more and more so.
Yeah. And so they get in their little cars, which I thought was really, really fun. We have Jenna, Erin, and Sai in one car.
Yes.
And then we have Jessel,
Bryn,
Uba,
and Uba.
Yeah. And I love it because, guys, Uba and Jenna don't drink, so it's perfect. So I can just drive these little things around.
By the way, I had to remember that.
Yeah.
Because when they leave the first bar and go to the second, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
I mean,
I know they're in dinghies, but like this is drink.
Both of those women did look like they could have been drinking when they made some of those maneuvers, but yes, they were sober.
Yes.
But the other thing with like the sunglasses, like she's making such a big deal, and I'm like, no fucking way Erin brought one pair of sunglasses to this fucking trip.
No way.
And I did like at one point she's like, should I just go grab my other pair? And I thought, thank God. Thank God at least she said something on camera where this isn't the only fucking pair of sunglasses that she wore.
Seriously, and not for nothing. At this lunch, one of the many times that they're talking about these sunglasses, Uba also gives this great dig where she's like, oh, the sunglasses, she got them on Canal, which at Canal Street in New York, it's like where all of the, you have the tables set up on the outside of the stores that have all the different fakes and all the different,
it's good.
It was a great. As a New Yorker, I appreciated it, that it was like
it
a
landed
dig.
for you?
It landed for me, and I was like, ooh, that's bitchy. I love it.
Yeah.
But that's why the other women laughed too.
Yeah.
Even Jessel, even though she's not a real New Yorker.
She's like, all the other New Yorkers laughed. I'm going to laugh.
I must laugh. Whatever. Can't say anything bad about Jessel. She's
Listen, she clocked in.
She clocked in. She really did.
Yeah, she's been clocked in for a while now.
She's been just steadily climbing. Unlike Erin, where we said, you brought up at the beginning, you and I both, we talked about, like, she's a bitch, but we like her. I can see this being good, and that's
she fell off pretty fast. I think I liked her the first episode. And then the second, once we got to the Hamptons, I was like, wait, what's wrong? Cause for pause.
Cause for pause.
Yeah.
She just has these great little moments. I have it in my notes because when they're at the rum tasting and there's that Mama Wanna booze and they're like, what is this? Oh, it's like moonshine or whatever.
And Jessel,
they're like, what's moonshine? Jessel says, it's like alcohol that's made naturally.
Hey, I wrote that down too because it was the best part. And this is why the post team gets a plus for this episode. The best part is that Jessel says it with such confidence that the women are like, oh, yeah. Like, nobody corrects her, whether they know better or not. The women are like, oh, yeah, yeah. And then I love the post team's like, wrong. It's just the comedy. Perfect.
Well, it's also all alcohol is made naturally.
Yes. Yeah.
Jessel.
She's
deliciously delusional.
Oh, big time.
Here for it. Okay, and the sunglasses alarm goes off. I love that Uba just she took that to completion.
Yeah.
Oh, you can have them back now.
Yeah, but what was this weird thing where she's like, oh, Erin's like, somebody else touched them. I'm not going to receive them first. Did you catch that? That was so fucking weird.
Yes. It was, honestly, talk about childish. It was almost like.
Who could be more childish? The ante is just up, 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 up.
Yep. They're raising each other. Someone's going all in.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
I guess Jenna or Jessel, somebody hands them to
I think
her.
Jenna's sitting next to Erin's, and Erin's like, basically, I don't want to. It's like saying, I don't want to talk to Betsy. So, Lauren, tell me what did Betsy? What did she say?
And we're sitting right in front of
each other. It'd be something like that, It's ridiculous.
Jeez.
They are trying to one up each other, but Jenna touches them and cleanses the Canal Street sunglass.
Mm-hmm. Now,
gives it to Erin.
Did you have any type of feelings? Because we didn't really get a lot of opinions, I think, about the phone because it was so chaotic that next morning.
Yeah.
So, but with Jenna specifically, before they leave and they're kind of in their little cars and Jenna comes over because, Erin's throwing a fit. She has my glass. I can't, this is so stupid. What is this?
Right.
Because in her mind, the glasses are more important than a cell phone. And, 45 minutes, it was only 45 minutes, so no big deal. It's also raining. So as Uba says, karma had my back. Or it didn't have my back because it was raining the whole day and it was overcast. You didn't even need your sunglasses. But when Jenna goes to the car, to Uba's car,
Uba,
she's like, Uba, really? Just give the sunglasses back. What did you think about Jenna in that moment?
I think Jenna's just trying to diffuse the situation overall. Mm-hmm. I think Jenna is seeing what Uba's doing as childish because it is, but I don't think that means she's not seeing how Erin is behaving as childish. I think she's just trying to find the quickest and easiest pathway to a solution.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And I think Jenna's thinking, I am way too old for this shit.
Yeah, well, all of these women are.
They're all too old for this shit because none of them are under the age of 13.
Correct.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Jenna does a good job of really staying out of it.
She does. She tries.
She tries to console Erin and kind of be a little bit on Erin's side. Although she doesn't outwardly say that she thinks Uba's in the wrong. Does she say that Uba's in the wrong?
Well, yeah. I brought because I don't remember last episode really anybody having any confessional or moment of being wow, I can't believe Erin did that. Sai said, I would be mad if you did that to me, but everyone else really didn't say much.
Right.
So I just felt like Jenna had a very strong reaction to being wow, just give her sunglasses back. But I do think that Jenna tries to live in the land of Switzerland where let's just all get along and let's move forward. I don't want to be involved in anything.
Right.
I don't even want to be here, but here we are. Let's just try to get through the day. I also think that, unfortunately for Jenna, the other women just don't give a shit. So when Erin has her little huff puff, woe is me.
Yep.
I think there's a part of Jenna that's well, I don't want to leave Erin out to dry. I don't want Erin to be all by herself.
I totally agree.
I do think that she kind of had to take, the short end of the stick, kind of go off with her.
I'm going to be the grown up and go console and make her make her feel like she's totally on an island.
Yeah, but I do think that Jenna likes to play middleman.
Yeah,
but it comes from a place of not wanting to get involved, but at the same time, she can't really pick a lane, so she kind of lives in the middle, and then she doesn't express herself.
Right,
she expresses herself in the confessional, but she doesn't really express herself that much in the group in real time.
Yeah,
even if it has to do with her.
I don't disagree. I think that that's been a theme with Jenna throughout. And something tells me, just thinking about it, because we do see it in an interview more, but I think that was probably something that was a note from the network to really push her in these interviews to give an opinion and give a perspective.
Yeah.
Because in seeing the footage, and this is not something that's uncommon or that's not understandable for a new cast member on a show, but sometimes you don't want to be overly opinionated or get involved in the drama or get involved in the fray, or you're hyper aware of it at least. And I think Jenna's just also not a super dramatic person. I don't think she's acting out of character. I think that this is how she would naturally react, but it lends to not having so clear of a point of view in the edit.
Yeah.
So I think that they probably had to push to like tailor questions in the interviews, in the confessionals, for her to make sure that she gives an opinion and kind of really digs into taps into what she may have been thinking at the time.
A point of view. I mean, that's true, because I don't think Jenna probably cares a lot about what this drama, which is so silly.
Because who really would?
I think Jessel's into it. But,
yeah, by the way.
But that's about it.
And Bryn, maybe a little bit.
Ironically.
Ironically.
I just think that Bryn always loves when she's not the center of the drama, right?
Oh, she does her best when she's not at the center of the drama. What Bryn needs to work on, sorry, Bryn, if you're listening, but what you need to work on is how to handle yourself when you are in the center of the drama and how to navigate some of that.
What tips would you give Bryn?
I would say, take a step back and look at things from a 30,000-foot view, maybe a little perspective, a moment to kind of take stock in what what the big picture is and what's happening might be. And I also think being maybe a little self-aware of why certain things may be triggering.
To her.
Or to others. For herself.
Okay.
Why things that are said about her may be a little triggering. Now, I think that this comes up in certain times, and other times I'm totally on Bryn's side, mainly when she's up on the opposite side of Erin, because Erin is just consistently doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Well, and this comes up because, first of all, Uba calls not Bryn, Erin is spoiled brat. You think I'm a spoiled brat? Yeah, I do. And then, and then
she owns it, guys. She owns it.
She owns it. She owns it. It comes up that Erin called Bryn a social climber, to which Bryn is like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "You knew that. That was months ago. I told you that." No, you didn't. First of all, Erin is gaslighting the fuck out of Bryn, trying to maneuver her way out of that one, right?
Y'all, there are some Mean Girl, which I mean the movie Mean Girl vibes. First of all, the burn book that we'll get to with Jessel.
Oh my god!
But also the greatest is like that scene when Uba drops the bomb, like, "Oh, well, you called Bryn a social climber," instead of Erin being like, "What?" Like, I didn't say that, or like, "Oh my god, you know what I did? I'm so sorry." Instead, Erin's like, "Oh my god, that was 4 months ago," which reminds me of one of my favorite scenes in Mean Girls when one of the quotes was like, and I forgot the girl's name, but like, "Rebecca made out with a hot dog." She's like, "What? That was 3 months ago." It's just like sometimes it's just so funny because Erin she can't do any wrong. I think she must really live in a world where like no matter what she does, it's justified. Well, God, that was 4 months ago when you stood me up at that cheese place, that place you wouldn't go to eat. So of course I called you a social climber, and I stand by that. But we're past that now. I didn't apologize, but we're past that. You know why? Because it's been 4 months. I just like, God, this fucking woman.
That's a literal rendition of what went down on screen.
It is, but you're right. She was gaslighting her, being like, "No, you knew that, Bryn. You knew I called you." Oh, Bryn is literally telling you that she did not know that you said that.
Correct.
Well, maybe it's because it was 4 months ago, Bryn. You've been drinking a lot. You probably don't remember that I said that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, God damn, this woman.
She is, and she cannot take the heat when it's dished towards her, because she almost immediately is like, "I am done. I called a car. I'm going home."
Does it kind of remind you, of course, the comedy is so different, but does it kind of remind you of like anytime somebody tried to confront Ramona, and she would always flee the scene? Like, remember that episode when she's like, "Guys, I'm feeling something in the woods. I need to get out here. My past, my trauma's coming back." And she gets out of there on the private jet, and then they find out that she went to a party back in New York City.
That was on my trip.
Oh my God, that was yours?
That was
okay.
to Heather's
oh my
house
God.
in the Berkshires.
Oh my God, iconic. Okay, so then that next
She's like,
episode,
I'm leaving. I need AC, but I'm leaving.
Oh yeah, the AC. And then she's like walking through the woods, and she's like, that stick is giving me trauma from my childhood. Guys, I mean, it's just,
I need to go.
It's just something else. But that next episode, the women are like, oh, she fucking faked this and she went to a party. And then we're like, okay guys, we're going to go to dinner and we're going to make sure we sit at a horseshoe table and we are going to
coverage.
Put her in the middle so she cannot escape. And I remember
it's like a tribunal.
Yeah, and I remember someone being like, we're going to put Luann at the end as a linebacker or something. Oh my God. So there are some
Linebacker
parallels.
Luann. By the way, there are some parallels.
Because Erin, the minute it turned, like, two people were like, wait, Erin, I don't know about that. She's like, oh, out of here. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
But then
I gotta run.
But then it was that embarrassing thing where she obviously couldn't go.
She had to wait
You know
around
what I
for a
mean?
minute.
She's like, I'm out of here. And she goes to the beach. She's like, well, I really need a new drink. Like, obviously she
this
couldn't.
is by the way, I said she called a car. She didn't. That was the second
But
time.
remember, she was like, I can't do this. And then that's when Jenna's like, okay, I'll hang out with you.
I guess that we'll go there.
Yeah.
But I need a drink. We'll go to the other side of the bar.
The other bar. We're going to make sure they see us upset. And then all she does is complain that they don't care.
They don't give a shit. By the way, that
Yeah.
is the theme of the episode. Erin is upset and no one gives a shit.
I know. And that makes her even more upset. The fact that they're having fun and laughing is the dagger in her heart.
Oh my God. Well, and it's like at the wreath making when she does her
huff
storm
and
off,
puff.
huff and puff, and
The
they're all like,
slowest walk.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Yeah. It's just,
Enjoy Anguilla, wherever the Bahamas, wherever
yeah.
you're going.
it's just, she just never gets the reaction she wants.
No.
And then she has to go back and she and Jenna play that super sad game of
Connect
Four or something. And they pan between that and the women doing the limbo
Doing
and
the
having
limbo.
so much fun.
It's just the juxtaposition is perfect. By the way, I will say, because I think this was an episode that I did with Lauren, I agree that Erin and Ramona have parallels. I think that Erin is like the quote unquote modern version of Ramona. She is that unaccountable. She's just not the same kind of level of kooky delusional that Ramona was.
Right.
But take that away. Like first season Ramona, when she's like isn't letting her total freak flag fly.
Yeah.
That to me is a little Erin.
Yeah.
Erin's just the modern version.
Yeah,
She's the millennial
okay.
version.
Yeah, because Ramona is so insufferable, but because there is a lot of delusion there, it's just the comedy's just to the ceiling.
Yeah.
To the ceiling.
To
and
the
back.
fucking ceiling.
But yeah, I think there are some parallels. No accountability. And every
None.
time Ramona apologized
And runs away.
If it wasn't accepted, she'd be like, "Well, never mind. No, you don't accept my apology. I don't accept your apology," even though no one apologized to her.
Oh,
You know?
God, Ramona.
It's just, but yeah. So they had the rum,
They have the rum,
had the moonshine, the natural rum,
the mamawana, they call it.
their natural alcohol.
Well, I will say this scene gave me the line that I've been waiting since the fucking original trailer for.
Oh, what was it?
Which is our girl Uba.
Oh.
And what is she? She's like, she's trying to control herself. She's putting herself on control cruise.
Yes.
Cruise control, whatever.
Yes.
I've been waiting for that moment.
Oh, that was so good.
It's good comedy.
Yes, she's just so endearing because
I know.
everything that comes out of her mouth is 100% sincerity.
Yeah.
Even though she said she made up Erin lying, she's like, that was bullshit. But everything else was true.
Yes, exactly.
I love her. They're like, wait, control cruise. Cruise control? Whatever. At least she knew what cruise control was.
She did.
I don't think people drive in New York, do they? So
Very, very sparingly. Unless you have, you're going out of the city to the Hamptons or to the Berkshires or wherever.
yeah, but no, I too. I loved that part.
I was waiting for that.
And then I just love when Sai was like, what, cruise control? She's like, yeah, you know what I mean. And just kept flying through with the story. Got it.
I got it.
And you know what? The women did know what she meant.
They absolutely did.
Yeah.
They absolutely did.
I mean, there's still room because I feel like this is a never-ending season, so I don't know how many more episodes we have, but I think, so there still is room for me to have a certain opinion about Uba. But what I can say right now, episode 1,000 in, is that Uba's the only person that I started out really loving and that I still love.
I agree. I fully, wholeheartedly agree with that. I have gone back and forth on almost everyone else.
Brynn, I still have strong feeling. I really like Brynn.
So do
she
I.
is playing a little, to me, it's starting to get a little one-dimensional with kind of
her shtick.
Yeah, her shtick.
The shtick isn't too much.
It's getting a little much. But I mean, she's still, I think, a star. And then Jessel, I just didn't like at the beginning, and now I love. So here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
But Uba, I love. I'm consistent.
Consistently love Uba.
Yeah.
Also, did you catch when Jenna tells Sai that I guess they're getting ready to leave the bar and go to the next one. Jenna tells Sai that someone asked Jenna if Bryn was her daughter.
Oh, I did. Yes. I did.
I mean, that's a bit much. But I guess the woman caveated it that she's drunk.
I'm drunk. And Jenna's like, I mean, she is younger than I am, but her mother, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And especially given that there's been this whole thread of flirtation.
Yes. Yeah. We don't need the incest.
No.
So yes, I think if she told Bryn that, Bryn might have been like, oh, what? A little bit put off. No, I thought that was funny. Honestly, I know I've throughout the podcast history of the new RHONY, I feel like I've been kind of hard on Jenna, that she just isn't giving a lot and stuff like that. I will say there are elements coming out about her that I think she's just naturally getting more comfortable with the women.
Yeah.
And I will say this trip, in hindsight, with the Hamptons trip, and obviously forgetting about the first day when they ambushed her.
Sure.
She's really, I think, kind of not coming out, but she's feeling
Loosened
herself.
and, yes.
And I just think she's having a little bit more fun. She just feels more comfortable with the girls, which I think there's an ease, and the energy feels better with her in the group. Whereas throughout the whole season, I felt a little bit of a disconnect with that, where I'm starting to get a sense that okay, she likes these women, and she's having a good time, and I don't know. But that scene when she was she thinks I'm Bryn's mom, I just thought was kind of a fun little moment.
There's an endearing element, energy to it. I agree. I think Jenna, admittedly, can be a little socially awkward, and I think it probably takes her a minute to warm up to people and get really comfortable with people. We know that they were not all friends before this, so now we're in a place where I agree. It's nice to see her a little bit more relaxed, albeit 3 days prior or 2 days prior, which is 3 weeks ago in our lives, they were all hammering her the first day that she got there. But she's rebounded, and it's nice. I will also say, because Lauren and I were texting about this off mic, obviously, that she called it, and it's true, there's a little bit of the Bachelor effect that's happening with these women right now, which is they've all, for the first time, been under the same roof in a place far away from their homes. So not 2 nights in the Hamptons where it's at Erin's house and Jenna stays at hers.
Yeah.
But in Anguilla, they're around each other 24/7. There is a pressure cooker element to whenever you're on a cast trip, because typically, you go, you film a scene. If it's an all cast event, you're there for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. If it's a regular scene, it's an hour to 2 hours, and then you go home.
Yeah.
And you kind of wipe your hands of it and you're out. But on trips, it is fucking full time. There's no reprieve, and it makes people
insane,
go a little fucking nuts, which does also create for some iconic and moments of television. But the reason those happen is because the environment is such that they're just with each other all the time, and there's no reprieve, and they're not used to that. So I do think you're seeing some of this happening in this episode, because this is now day 4 or something, and I think that there's a little bit of it's like the opposite of cabin fever going on.
Yeah, starting to kind of get a little Jack in the Shining.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting hot in the kitchen. It's getting twins, red rum.
Yeah.
Red rum. Getting a little red rum.
Yeah, red rum.
But yeah, I just, as an aside, because I do think that's because we see that happening throughout this entire fucking episode.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stop at the next restaurant.
A little, not as intense, but little nodes of Scary Island.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Scary Island. I mean, that was also just some serious instability as well.
Yeah.
Added into that recipe.
But yeah, we go now to a lunch.
Yes.
Guys, we know that Sai did plan this trip. Because every event other than the boat is a bar in a restaurant. And I got to be honest, this is the trip I would like to go on.
But I agree. I want to go places to drink and pepper that with food.
Yeah, I don't need a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I watching it, I love activities.
I know.
But that's as a viewer. if I'm going, I want to go to the rum bar. I want to hang out with Jessel and drink natural alcohol.
Yep.
And then go eat someplace, after that, and take that little car. I mean,
I love that little dingy car.
Everything about it, I'm here for. So, Sai, you can plan my vacation
Anytime.
Erin, absolutely not.
No, we'll never have food.
Erin's like, I gave you a sandwich last Thursday. What more can I do? You're like, it's Sunday. Exactly.
Exactly.
Get your own food.
Go to Provisions.
Well, I roll my eyes about it.
Well, we're at the second stop in the restaurant tour. The restaurant tour of Anguilla. How many places can I get a rum punch?
And then they go back home and then they eat dinner. Like, I do know that there's a hot tub scene in there somewhere, but like,
yeah, but that's really just like a pre-dinner hot tub.
This is
a post-lunch pre-dinner hot tub.
This is the eating trip, and I'm here for it. I love it.
But I'm here for it too.
But yeah, we're at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where I need to ask you, because this is where the subtitles come into play that I didn't turn them on yet.
Okay.
Now so they all sit down, and obviously, Erin and Uba, they're on kind of opposite sides of the table.
Yes.
And, Erin's like huffing and puffing and coming in. And Uba's like, yeah, I hate her. Or like, we hate each other right now, or something.
Something like that.
But do you remember what Uba said that like sent her over the edge? She's like, I'm out of here. I gotta leave. Was there anything specific?
Well, so they get there, and Uba starts going off before Erin and Jenna get to the table.
That's right, because they go to the bathroom.
That's right. Okay. So, Sai, I think it's Sai who's like, when can we just stop this? Like, when is this going to just end? And Uba responds with, well, when people stop lying and being abusive.
Oh, that's right. That's when she says abusive. Okay.
Yes. And Sai's like, well, you're being abusive and Erin's lying. And she's like, not abusive, aggressive. No, aggressive, which fair. I think that is true. I do not think Uba's being abusive. I think she's being aggressive as she is saying that she is.
Yeah.
But it's also, that's her own self-awareness, and that's her, even in the moment, owning her actions.
Yeah, exactly. Something that Erin has yet to do.
No idea and has yet to do. And then our girl Jessel starts sliding in and commenting and like all of the points, making points of all the things that Erin has done and the shit that she said. And Erin is the common denominator here. She's pointing that out. So as this conversation's going on and taking place, then Erin and Jenna sit back at the table. So Uba and the table are already a little revved up because they've already been talking about this. And Uba tries to revisit the issue to Erin. And Erin is just like, nope, I'm out. I called a car. I'm leaving.
I'm leaving. I can't do this.
I've already ordered the car. I cannot be in her Uba. And then her only instruction when she leaves to Sai is to not talk about her while she's gone. Sweetheart. So you are on a television show called The Real Housewives of New York City. It has, in some iteration or another, been on the air for 14 years. When has someone left the table or stormed off from anywhere and not been talked about? There's literally over a decade of evidence to support this.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Just say no.
Now I'm going to talk about you to my Uber driver in the car, but that's different. You don't talk about me at all. Yeah, she just can't handle the heat. And the most unattractive thing in a housewife is not having any accountability.
Couldn't agree
And guys,
more.
even if it's fake accountability, like there's been tons of housewives. I mean, look at Ramona. Ramona always does tons of fake apologies, but at least she tries to say it. She goes through the motions. She does a fake apology.
Because a New Beginnings tour.
Come on, like at least have, even if you don't believe your own apology, I mean, just try. Just try. There's not even any trying with Erin. She can't even fathom the words, I'm sorry. And I'll get to that, later when she talks to Uba. But it just, especially if you're someone who can't say you're sorry, I guess that's fine. Work on that with yourself. But then don't be the person doing shit. Be the person, be a Jenna and just hang out and just kind of like observe and be in the background. Don't be the one, shooting off the fireworks, because you're going to get burned at some point and you got to be able to handle it. That's the other thing is like, I agree. I have a lack of respect for her. Like it'd be one thing if she was doing all this, but she could handle it, kind of like a Bethany. Like Bethany can handle it, right?
Agreed. Yes, she
so
can.
So
take it.
there's a level of respect on the show, not the Bethany that we're seeing right now, but like on the show.
No, but I agree. She
Bethany
can dish it, but
dishes
she will
it,
take
but
it.
she can handle it.
Yep, and she
Erin
can't
do that. Yeah, and Erin cannot do that. So there's a level of disrespect that I have for her.
I couldn't agree more.
As a whole.
Yeah. Well, I think that it accentuates and highlights the fact that she's never been accountable in her life.
Yeah.
This is just a depiction of that,
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. A depiction of that.
It's a mirror.
It's a mirror.
A mirror. She's looking into the mirror.
Although I found this interesting. The flashback when Jenna in the chair says that she's seen Uba kind of flip the switch before.
Oh, that was interesting.
I thought that was really interesting, that flashback to the cameras thing. Look, I will say as a producer, I get it. I get a cast member who, they want, when they're on camera, they want to look a certain way. You want to have hair and makeup. You want to do these things. Now, on one level as a producer, I understand it if it's like appropriate. What I find frustrating at times is when you're doing like a wake up round robin where they're supposed to be literally sleeping in bed and then the alarm goes off and they wake up and they have a full face of makeup on. I'm like, okay, can you just be natural for like this one? Or if it's like just waking up and making breakfast for the kids before you get ready for work. Okay, well, you wouldn't have a full fucking face of HMU on, that stuff drives me a little nuts. But I do understand like showing up to a friend's and it's like drinks and whatever, being a little taken aback that you didn't know that you were filming.
Yeah.
But I also find it weird because if they were filming, there are call time emails and texts that go out the night before to every single cast member for every scene. So, and also depending on, scenes get slotted throughout the week last minute, but usually at the beginning of the week, the talent producer, the segment producer, whoever is responsible for, interacting with the talent in terms of like the nuts and bolts, the logistics, where, when, the call times, what you need to wear, what's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it usually goes out on an at a glance at the beginning of the week. And then every day before the next film day, you send usually an email and then also a text of like, hey, just confirming, here are your scenes for tomorrow. Scene 1, or in this case, like scene, hanging out at Jenna's with the girls. Call time is this time, which is usually about 15 to 30 minutes before you're supposed to start filming so that they can get there, get mic'd up, get ready, etc., and like start film arrivals and then get into the scene. Wardrobe, location, this is Jenna's house, this address. So it also seems a little weird to me that Uba...
She didn't know.
Didn't know.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Understandably so. But that's something that I was like,
but
that's
it
a little
makes
odd.
sense. Because even if it was something that was on the fly for her, even if it was a day before, wouldn't she still...
Producers would be reaching
out. Would know
out.
that it's a scene?
Right. Like these shows, these scenes are not scripted, but they have to be planned and set up because of permits, locations, all of the schedules, all of these other things.
Yes.
We have to make a schedule for the crew every day where every 6 hours they get a break. It's only a 12, 6 hours they get meal, and then it's only a 12-hour day and all of these things. So there are logistics that go into this.
Yeah.
So in order for them to plan the scene, the producing team, even if it's a last minute scene the day before, even if it's a scene that's for that afternoon that they planned that morning because something else fell through, they'd still have to reach out to all the cast and say, hey, are you available? We want to do this. Couldn't you? Yeah. So something about the math ain't mathin' for me on this one. So I don't know. That's
true.
It doesn't play into story now. It's neither here nor there, but
that's obviously why they didn't initially air that, I would imagine. But I guess just to give some latitude to what Jenna's saying, and like this isn't the first time she's seen Uba have maybe an overreaction. Yeah. I mean, the sense I get about Uba is that she likes to have a lot of control. Right? Like she likes to very much be in control. And I think that's also one of the reasons that she doesn't drink. Like she likes to be very coherent in control of everything. So I think that's also why Erin taking the phone was probably a bigger trigger for her than maybe it would have been if you take Bryn's phone. I mean, God knows if you took Sai, I don't know what would have happened, content creator, but like, if you take Bryn's phone, maybe it wouldn't have been Jessel, who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But like, I think that there is a level of control that, Uba likes to have. And maybe that's kind of what I thought about that flashback scene, which I did think it was over the top. Like, how could you not tell me? Like, what? Like, I need to look a certain way. Which she's being honest. She's being transparent. But I can imagine being Jenna and like being like, maybe like a little put off. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I did too, and I agree that I think Uba is someone who does need and feel comfortable with a certain level of control in her life. And, you know, we all pick up certain needs and wants and traits throughout our lives for various, various reasons. But even the fact that with her phone, it's like she has family overseas that she needs to check in with every morning, every night, or else people get worried. You know, that's Uba has a different experience than these other women do.
Yeah. And we only get these little windows of insight during moments like this, where she's having to tell us why she had such a reaction to the phone being taken, because we don't really have any background on Uba in a real way. I mean, we had that one scene where she's talking about her business, and I know and I know she got sick for a couple of those other episodes, but we don't really have a lot of like background on Uba and like what she does, like meats and bones of really who she is. We know bits and pieces over what we've been told. And I honestly feel this way about Brynn too. Honestly, I think I wrote down that even it was at this lunch when Brynn kind of like talked about her job, and I was like, to me, Brynn is like Chandler Bing from Friends. Like nobody really understands what his job is. Like that to me is like, okay, Brynn does something. She says she works for 10 hours. Maybe she's like a consultant of some type, but I have no fucking clue what Brynn does for a living at all.
Neither do I. Well, I did find it in that window when she was talking about her job, though. I did find it really interesting that, you know, she kind of gave some credence to her, you know, her performativeness, and especially as it ties to her sexuality and kind of what the root of that is. And it was also a little heartbreaking. Yeah. Like she always wanted to be a doctor. She was great at it, but she was never valued for anything other than her, you know, her sexuality or who she dated. And that's what she got validation for. So after having like a pre-quarter life crisis, she was like, I'm going to go into PR. Yeah. When really she wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah. I mean, we did get some insight there. They say you don't go to medical school to be a doctor. You go to meet and marry a doctor. I mean, that's
fuck.
Yeah, that's kind of informative.
It's so antiquated too. I mean, I think she said she had Betty Draper for a grandmother.
Yeah. Yeah.
That says it all. She does well in school, you know. She wanted to be a doctor, no one cared. She dated a Turkish rich dude and everyone was like fawning over it.
Yeah, and that's what's sad, is because I think Lord and I talked, it was either last episode or I don't know, a couple episodes ago, where we like see this insecurity in Brynn that like, you know, she wants to be married and she wants to have kids and all this stuff, but I think that she doesn't believe that she deserves that she doesn't think she'd be a good mom or a good partner, which is, you know, very sad. But
it is. It's
if you're growing up and you're trying to go to college and your passion is to become a doctor, and your grandparents, who are the ones that raised her, saying, no, you need to marry a doctor, you can't be a doctor, like that's gonna stick with you.
Yeah, that has like a lasting effect. I mean, look, I think that we all have childhood trauma and baggage that we carry throughout our lives. And, you know, I think that this show and this season is going to be a very interesting reflection for Brynn to look at, because a lot of her trauma triggers and the things that she's processing from her past are certainly on display. And I like seeing her open up about it, and I like seeing her be vulnerable about it. Yeah. And being vulnerable does not only mean crying, but just being open. No. Because it does explain some of the other behaviors.
Yeah. No, it does. Especially since we've been seeing, I feel like a lot of it on this trip.
We have been. We really have. Jesus Christ.
And it continues.
Speaking of emotionals and teary-eyed, we go to Erin and the call to her father.
Ooh. I clocked it. I paused. The Peacock.
He paused the Peacock.
That's where I watch my show, The RHONY. I paused it. And I said out loud, guys, I talk to my dogs, but they're not listening. I'm really talking out loud to myself.
They're listening. They're just not responding.
This is going to tell me a lot about Erin, because I wanted to see how she described the event to her father.
Yes.
And I got my answer.
And what was that answer?
I got my answer. My answer was, when she's talking to her father and she's like, you know, Uba and I are having a hard time. Okay, so here's what happened. We were doing a prank. I took her phone. For 2 minutes. Okay. I paused it again. I said, I need to take a break. I need to take a break, because this is telling me everything I need. And what it's telling me is Erin is giving herself away, because Erin by lying to her father, she knows what she did at some level was wrong. Because if Erin really believes in her heart of hearts, bless her heart, if she really believes that she did nothing wrong, why lie about the time? Why not say I took her phone for 45 minutes while I went upstairs? She actually, but
she's
Dad,
diminishing it.
But Dad, the minute she asked for it, I gave it back, which isn't really true, but is kind of true, right? But for her to be like, Dad, I took her phone for 2 minutes, okay?
She's priming the story.
She knows what she did was wrong. Because why lie?
Good
why
point.
lie, Erin?
Good point.
And I told my dogs, I said, I was right. I looked at my dogs and I said, I was right. I called her, I clocked it, and I knew it. And then I continued the scene and I enjoyed it. Right? I mean,
yeah,
what was your takeaway?
I thought that she was completely diminishing it. I thought that it sounded like it felt like a high schooler who had a fight with a friend and calls their parents and just gives a very narrow, skewed version of events.
Yes.
It did not feel like a 36-year-old woman who is being like, Dad, I got into a fight with a good friend. Look, I took her phone for 45 minutes. She had pushed me into the pool. I thought it was just a joke. I didn't mean anything by it, but no, I took her phone for 2 minutes, and it was just it just continued with this kind of very juvenile.
Why lie if you did nothing wrong, baby?
Why lie?
I saw everything I needed to see. I mean, I'd seen enough at that point, but that really sent me over. I thought, got it.
And look, Erin, she opens up in the chair. She was bullied, which by the way, I'm not going to diminish anyone's middle school bullying. I was bullied in 6th grade and middle school. It fucking sucks. There is nothing fun about that shit whatsoever. So I'm not going to invalidate that. However, I am also not going to invalidate the comedy behind Long John Silver.
Guys.
The two can exist.
Guys.
That's pretty clever for some 7th graders. I'm just going to say.
It was. Listen, I want to back everything Eeps just said because trauma is trauma and childhood trauma still lives on with you. But there was a little bit of comedy when she's sitting in the chair and the sentence starts with, when I was in the 7th grade. You know what I mean? Like, I've had things that have happened to me in middle school that I'm like, wow, like I'm like, I remember and I can hold on to. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to attribute that to me doing something asinine she and I are the same age almost. I'm 35. Like, yeah. And then being like, this reminds me in the 6th grade when that boy called me, blah, blah. It's just like, it just felt a little bit like, okay, don't laugh, but also what was that? Also, Erin, where was that story for your most embarrassing moments?
By the way,
honestly, that was my second thought. Like, why didn't you use that story?
By the way, that is a really fucking good point. I didn't clock that, and that is so true. That is way better of an embarrassing story.
I mean, it obviously left an imprint on her.
Clearly.
She's the only reason I'm giving her a hard time. It's not that I, want to give her a hard time. It's just that I feel like she's using this story not as insight on who Erin was and on what she's experienced in middle school, but she's also using it as a backdrop of like, I can do this because look where I came from and I've overcome stuff. And I too have hurt. I just thought it was really trivial and kind of the way that she was using it didn't land for me.
Yeah. It feels to me like she was after the fact, because the interviews are done after the fact, trying to find something to validate and humanize her actions and her tone. And so I reluctantly call bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't think that is the reason for this. I think that Erin doesn't take criticism well. I think
absolutely not.
Erin doesn't like feeling like the outsider and coming from the bar where everyone was doing the fucking, I was going to say the Congo line. No, the limbo.
Yeah.
And she's like stewing, playing Connect Four,
she's
eyeballing
pouting.
them, and she's pouting. Mm-hmm. And she is acting incredibly juvenile. And coming, on the heels and intercut with this conversation with her dad, which, yes, she's emotional. She's obviously upset. And I feel for her in that respect. But even the conversation with her father feels very juvenile.
Okay. Yeah. Are we to believe that she left that lunch? Everyone left. Again, let her leave.
Everyone just
have a good one, Erin, baby. See you soon.
We'll see you back there.
She's like, in the car thinking about her being in middle school. Like, I just don't.
I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I think she's sitting in the car being super fucking pissed that no one came with her, that no one validated her feelings, and that she didn't feel like people saw it from her side.
Right. Well, I mean, even back at the bar, she's like, they're all bitches. Or look at all of them. Like, she was mad at everyone for not consoling her.
Yeah, 100%.
But
so Erin is off at the house, right?
Yes.
And then the boarding school debate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me get your opinion as a resident New York. Well, Laura would beg to differ, but
she's the OG New Yorker. I'm just a resident
she's
one.
the colonial.
She's the colonial.
New Yorker.
Yes, New Amsterdamer. I am the New Yorker. Look, I don't think that sending your kid to boarding school automatically means that you don't want to parent them. Do I think that there are any parents who send their kids to boarding school because they don't want to deal with the day-to-day of being the parent? Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that there are some that do, but I don't think that's unequivocal and across the board. I will say, though, what I thought was really interesting, and as a part of the conversation to have on the show, was Jenna saying that she chose not to send her son to private school, mm-hmm. and that she sent him to public school, but she still struggles with him, understanding the value of money, and that the fact that her teenage kid could go to her and say that he knows he has a warped sense of wealth was like, I was
very,
like, whoa.
Very mature.
It was so fun. I mean, it was honestly, I feel like I was hit by a truck because it was such a stark difference of maturity from anything else we've been seeing on the show so far. And it came via a story about a teenager.
Yeah.
So that was also
ironic,
irony.
Huh? Yeah, it is.
But even just saying that he has a warped sense of wealth, because growing up in New York and around this, the prep school and the private school environments, and I was not of like the uber wealthy that have the private planes and all that, as far from it as possible, right? But I know that I had privilege in going to into these schools, and there is a very warped sense of money in that world. Yeah. And I do think that on a show, on the reboot especially, where there are so many people from so many different backgrounds and experiences growing up, especially those who are born and raised in New York, you have the Erins versus the Size versus, I did think that this was a moment that they took advantage of and they capitalized on, of having like an interesting cultural kind of sprinkling of conversation in terms of what it is, what the experience of growing up in this section of New York is.
Yeah. No, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. What's her son's name? Beckett, I think.
Beckett.
Yeah. Good name too.
Well, and also just being like very transparent that she's aware that, even though she did send her son to public school, he still has a lot of advantages around him.
Yes.
And he's probably still spoiled in ways that other kids are not. And it reminds me of like, it's different, but it kind of reminds me of like early seasons of OC with Vicky and Brianna. Yeah. And she's like, let me get you a car. And she's like, no, I need scrubs for work. Like just very like,
yes.
Like Vicky would always try to like give her and like dote and give her things. And Brianna was always like super
practical.
Yeah. Just like, no, I need to like get stuff for work. And she's like, okay, well, can I get you expensive scrubs? She's like, okay.
Well, also, when she also gave her a Mercedes and told her she had to pay the monthly lease.
That, by the way, is like a true Vicky gift. Like, I'm going to give you a house, but you're paying the mortgage, you're paying everything.
And Brianna's probably like, I would have rather taken a Toyota and made half the monthly payments.
Correct. But yeah, no, I thought it was an interesting conversation, and I will say it was nice not having Erin there, because
it was.
The funny thing is like, yes, she's like, don't talk about me. And my favorite part was like, they talked about her a little bit and then they really started talking about other stuff.
Yeah. And they could without someone bulldozing the conversation. Yeah. Which Erin does. Sorry.
Thing in the past.
Yeah. Well, Uba brings it up one more, and like she tries to apologize, like with some time apart, right?
Yeah. She's like, I'm sorry.
And Bryn, but like, this is the way to approach someone with something that maybe they don't want to hear. It's like, what does Bryn say to her? Something like,
don't get upset, or don't
shoot the messenger. Yeah. Don't get upset.
Defense. I think she's like, don't get defensive. I can't remember.
Something like that. But she agrees with her 90% of the time, but it was about the delivery of the message, right? Yeah. And Uba, when she acknowledges it, but I just love that, I'll be 80 and I'll be taking people's sunglasses off of their face.
She's like, well, this is what I like. It's not about saying you're sorry and being like, I need to change. For Uba, she's like, I take accountability.
That's the difference.
I took accountability. I know I kind of overreacted, but this is who I am. And I'm always going to be like this.
Right. I'll
and
acknowledge
I can
it.
respect that.
So can I.
And I also think that Uba's crime, put that in quotations, fits the punishment that what Erin did. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
her reaction, I think, is fitting for the situation.
Especially how it was handled as it was kind of bubbling up and as it was coming to light.
Yeah.
Again, like we said earlier, Erin could have this could have been squashed if Erin had just been a little bit accountable and showed a little contrition at the beginning of the day.
But she didn't, and here we are.
But she didn't, and here we are.
Supersized episode,
Oh my
Sunglass
God,
Gate.
why supersized though? Why?
Yeah.
Well, driving back to the house.
Okay. We're back in the little cars, guys.
I love the little cars. With the Uber driver. I mean, Uba driver.
Yeah, that was cute. That was really cute. She's like, 5 stars.
5 stars. 5-star rating.
But yeah, we get here. And I wish we had I feel like we're missing some of the conversation, but it very quickly goes to Bryn saying, well, Jessel, she thinks you're a dum-dum. She calls you a dum-dum. She thinks you're an idiot.
Oh.
And Jessel's like, what?
She does what?
She gets on her phone, starts clicking away.
Erin said that you had a trust fund.
Oh, yeah. That you're loaded and you're a liar. The 2 L's, loaded liar.
Loaded and a liar. The phone. The Al Capone list.
Oh, this.
Not to be confused with the Al Pacino list.
Yeah, this was hysterical to me. And then, was it Jenna that was like, wait, what list is this?
Well, because they're talking about it in the car with the 3 of them, and then they pull up next to Sai and Jenna. Jessel has a list.
Terrible.
She has a list of all the things.
And okay, this was my favorite moment of the episode because they were doing this side by side, and Uba's like, "You better not be on your list. You better do something to get on their list." And Sai and Jenna are like, "Wait, what
What are you talking about?"
They just pulled up mid sentence and wanted Jenna and Sai to get it instantly. They're like, guys, she has a list.
They're like, huh?
Oh,
yeah, no,
so
they wanted a quicker uptake that they gave no context for. It was great.
Yeah.
I also, I think it may be here or maybe a little bit later that Jessel says, fool me once and it's mental.
Yeah.
It's in the mental. Twice.
Yeah.
On the phone. Going on the phone.
Yeah, that's what she says.
By the way, that is a smart cast member thing to do. I'm sorry. I know it's a little cuckoo, but keeping the list of things, A, you're going to have to address it at the reunion. So it's kind of smart to remind yourself. And B, these things move so fast. And then it's always like there's, something blows up or something goes off and your adrenaline goes up in the moment. You're not remembering everything you want to say. It's like, Erin can be aggressive. And I think Jessel is like, I need to have the Rolodex. I need to be able to call back to the things that she has said and to have the motherfucking receipts.
Mm-hmm. This is also why I'm starting to love Jessel because I would be willing to bet, as a betting woman, as I always say, that she's not the only cast member to do this.
No fucking way is she the only cast member.
But she's the only one that's willing to just admit it on camera because she's like, you know what? Who cares? So I actually love this. And she's like, yeah,
I did.
I write it down so I can remember it at a later date. And the women are just dying. They are laughing. They love it. And Uba's like, well, what do you have on me? She goes, you're not in it. I have nothing.
I got nothing on you.
It's good. Okay, good.
I'm not on the list, but Erin is.
Yeah.
She's giving
Honestly,
a list of everyone.
It probably just is Erin. Maybe a few size stuff in there, but it's Erin.
Erin
has her own folder.
Yes.
Right?
Come out with a binder like Monique.
Oh my God.
I've got
just
the Erin binder.
Erin with just different dates on when they had scenes together.
Yeah, literally. By the way, though, it's that part of Jessel is a little bit of a producer's dream because what happens is you'll be in Video Village and something will be happening and you're like, God, but Jessel, remember when she said this is what you should bring up. And in this case, it's like Jessel could just go to her phone and be like, oh, and another thing.
Yeah.
Or I love that.
No, I think
they all do it.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Yeah, I think it's great.
Any seasoned one does.
Yeah.
The newbies on RHONY, they're going to learn to do it after the reunion because they have to call back to things.
But not Jessel, baby.
But not Jessel. Jessel's a quick
because
study.
Jessel's been on the defense since episode 2 or 3.
She has seen the train coming. She's been seeing the writing on the wall, and she's like, I'm going to prepare myself.
And she's also finding out like facts about New York. She's going to be ready for the reunion. She's going to know the population. She's going to know the neighborhood. She is going to be well versed, baby.
She's going to say, not only is Tribeca the most valuable zip codes in the country, but this specific zip code within Tribeca is actually the highest price per square foot. Isn't that right, Erin?
She'll have 3 different points for each aspect about New York.
I'm here for it, though.
No, I loved it. I really did.
Me too. I really did.
And yeah, the women, we finally get back home or back to the house.
God, we all want to actually go home.
And we hear the dreaded words from Erin. Uba, can we talk?
Actually, by the way, at first it's Uba, come.
Oh, well, yeah, because did she say Uba, come? Is that what she says?
Uba, come.
What
Uba,
a
come.
bitch.
Can you, and then.
Well, I remember Uba being like, ask nicely or ask politely.
Right, exactly. Because it's like she's commanding.
Uba, come, please.
What is she, her puppy? Uba, come.
I didn't even realize it was that rude. I thought she was like, Uba, let's talk.
I think at first, the first thing she said, because I was like, oh no, was Uba, come.
Oh,
and then it was Uba, like, or can we talk? But it wasn't even a question. It was like, come talk to me.
Yeah.
It was statements, not questions.
Yeah, that actually reads right for her.
Yeah. And then it was like, can you say it nicely?
Mm-hmm.
Uba, can you come talk to me?
Please.
Please.
And then Uba goes, okay.
Fine.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. And they admit to loving each other. I think you love me, but the way you treated me was shocking.
I think you love me. Well, real quick. I love
Yeah.
it. They sit down. Can you please take off your sunglasses?
Oh my God.
Uba wants to look this bitch in her eyes. And you know what? I understand.
I do too.
Because, and even if I'm not having a serious conversation, guys, like if I'm going out to brunch and, bless my friend's heart, they always face the sun for me because I can't handle the sun. But if I'm having to look at them and their sunglasses are on, I'm like, I can't even see your eyes. So like, I get where Uba's coming from. And the only points I give Erin is that she quickly takes them off. That was her one point. She didn't give any. She was like, all right, I'm going to take them off.
All right, I'm not going to deal with this.
God
I'm not going to do this right now. We're not doing it.
Let me take the fucking sunglasses off. So Erin, baby, half a point. Okay?
Half a point. Half a point.
But yeah, they think they love each other.
They think that they love each other. We thought that they were fine after the pool.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Uba
yeah.
thought they were fine after the pool.
Mm-hmm.
But Erin's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But Uba says, but you said that bitch. And Erin's like, I was saying to Sai, that's my bitch right there because she pushed you in.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't done with you.
Yeah.
This is a lot of there's a lot of rules to this like prank war.
Guys, it's so silly. This is another nitpicking thing, guys. It's rough when I take notes, okay? Because I remember certain things that probably don't even need to make it on the podcast, but here we are.
Let's do it.
This is another scene where Erin, she says multiple times, I actually love you. Why are you saying actually?
Right, that insinuates
She says
that I don't, but I actually do.
love you, Uba. Why? Why can't you just love her?
It feels like when someone says, honestly, I mean this.
Honestly, God, David. It's like a Shannon. Honestly, like, I do like you. In despite of everything that you're terrible.
That's the subtext.
It just felt like, I actually love you. What?
By the way, I didn't clock that, but that it's the
telling you.
subtext of I actually do, despite the fact that you're being nasty and condescending.
Yeah. Like, look at me. I'm overcoming things. I actually still love you, even though you treated me like dog shit.
Yeah.
That's kind of what she's saying.
Well, yet again, there is no contrition. There is no, accountability or vulnerability from Erin of like, you know what? I'm hurt by the way that you behave towards me, but I can acknowledge that I did this and this was wrong. There's none of that.
No, we don't get that.
We don't get that. Even after she's upset with how everyone reacted, she and Uba continued to fight all day. She stormed off, not once, but twice. Mm-hmm. She still just doesn't fucking get it.
No, she doesn't. And obviously this meeting of the minds does not go well because nothing is resolved. Because I think Uba, I know she takes accountability later on, but I think at this point she's trying to see where Erin was coming from and the things that, the horrible things that Uba said. She's shocked that Uba talked to her that way. So Uba was like, you know what? Never mind. She can't find her phone. That's the other thing. Oh my, that's what happens. Where's my phone, guys? God. The comedy sometimes is just there, ironically. Okay,
it's really actually.
So this is not a great moment for Uba because it really just shows that Uba never fucking knows where her phone is. Okay, she just never.
I shook my head so hard.
Never knows, and she's like, I can't continue this conversation. I cannot do it.
I cannot.
I need to find my phone.
I want to know, what is she looking for on her phone? What does she need? Because
that's right. She wants to show
Erin something to further her point. But it's on the phone that she can't find. All the while, Brynn, Jessel, and Sai are cackling and watching from the upper level this whole thing and just like, get me the popcorn.
Yeah, but they're also like, oh my God, let's find her phone.
Bryn's
like, I've got to find her phone. I've got to find it. Guys, so she ends the conversation because she needs to find her phone. She does not. Erin's like, no, let's do it now. And she's like, no, later with the phone.
With the phone. We're done. The conversation's done. It's over. It's done.
So nothing's resolved. Now, another comedy part for me with Erin is I think she says it to Sai. She's like, I tried. I tried to extend the olive branch. Okay. So her extending the olive branch was her saying, come, talk. And then sitting down and telling Uba how disrespectful and how shocked she was about how badly she treated her.
Yes.
How is that an olive branch?
That's not.
To extend an olive branch, you have to admit some type of sorrow or sympathy on how I treat you. Take accountability, baby. Accountability. It's fun. Try it out. Take something. Yep. But she doesn't do any of that. But yet she extended the olive branch because she said, come here, talk.
She tried. It's
failed.
Just, come on.
It's just very much like I do everything right and I can do whatever I want to other people. But when somebody does something to me, the lightning bolt may strike down.
And the thing is, I think that she is actually in the dark about this pattern of behavior and really this patterned way of thinking that she has. I think that Erin, in her mind, she tried to make it right. I think that she is actually very much like Ramona, a little delusional in her assessment of how she behaves and the tone that she takes and the impression that she gives off within these social situations.
Well, honestly, I hope it's that. Because if she's doing this intentionally and she knows what she's doing, that's even worse.
It's way worse.
So
I will give her at least I believe, and I'll give her the benefit of the doubt in this, that I think that she genuinely doesn't understand and doesn't think that she did anything wrong.
Which kind of gives us the biggest insight on her life.
Correct. Which is also why she calls her dad and is like, I took the phone for 2 minutes.
Yeah. Made me feel better about this. I did nothing wrong. Which does show to me that she has guilt. Right?
Yes.
And it goes back to she has guilt. Why lie if you did nothing wrong? She has guilt about what's happening. There's a disconnect with her, I guess, saying that she's sorry assumes blame and she doesn't want to do that because she doesn't want to feel like she did anything wrong.
I think that she lacks the self-awareness to realize the implication of her words and actions, which is not to, and I say that and then I kind of listen to myself say that and how it sounds like I'm kind of letting her off the hook and she, it's out of her control. It's very much in her control. She needs to do better.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she behaves and the lack of accountability that she takes sucks. But I think that she has always kind of moved through life operating this way, and this is maybe one of the first times that she's caught up in it. And people aren't just kind of letting it slide.
Well, that's good.
It is good because it's not cool.
No. And she flees. Fight or flight.
Every time.
She's a flight.
She's a flight risk.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Well, we get them in the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
And Brynn, I love when timing like this works out. When Brynn is basically saying, and she accused me of being a slut just as Erin's walking into the hot tub. I didn't accuse you of being a slut. Well, you basically fucking did, Erin. Let's get it together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit of the Erin reckoning. They're all putting this together. Yeah. And who is it? Is it Jessel who is Erin, Erin never owns up to her shit and never apologizes.
Correct. That's true.
Or all she hears from Erin is that you have to own up to your shit, but she never fucking does.
Mm-hmm.
Which, true. Jessel, come in with the hard truths.
Yes. Yeah. And then Uba's laying there and Well, before we get to you're a bitch, no, you're a bitch, because that's what happens next.
Yes.
So we get the slut.
We get the
She
slut.
called me a slut. A little bit of like, oh my God, that was like 3 months ago. Get over it. But the interesting thing about this is that she first denies, right? I didn't say that about you. I didn't say that. And they talk a little bit more, and then like it kind of gets to the point like, I don't want to fight with you. Why are we doing this? This is in the past. Why are you bringing this up? And then we finally kind of get to we're almost going to get to a resolution, and you hear Erin goes, I'm sorry I used that word. So she then admits that, did you use slut or did you not use slut?
That's a very good point.
I'm sorry I used that word. So you know what, guys? Erin did apologize.
Now she acknowledged it.
She lied and then got ambushed and then said sorry for slut.
After she literally gets like ambushed by the rest of the cast, minus Jenna, who's upstairs hiding. And working.
Jenna's working.
She's like, I'm out.
She's
tag me out for a minute.
I needed a little bit of a mental break.
Also, don't blame you.
Nah, I don't blame her either.
Don't blame you, Jenna. But yeah, she does. She finally, I'm sorry for using that word.
Yeah, but she's mad. She's mad that Bryn's bringing it up now. Now you're coming after me. But I do like that flash, and I don't actually know if it was in this scene or if it was the dinner scene or whatever, but the flash of how many times Bryn and Erin have gone back and forth, really. And, you know, it goes back to just a couple days ago with the IBF stuff.
Yep.
And
God,
just
like forever ago.
It does feel like so long ago.
Sorry.
But, God, guys, we're ready to get off this train.
Please.
But it just goes to show, like, how many ups and downs they have, and how it is kind of baffling that Bryn couldn't understand a little bit more of where Uba was coming from to begin with and why she was so upset.
It is a little baffling, but I do think that, look, I will say I think that Bryn was pretty fair in all of this. You know, saying to Uba, like, I understand, but I do think that maybe, like, it was a little bit of an overreaction, or that the you know, the actions weren't justified necessarily by the reaction. I feel like I'm not saying that right, but I think you know what I mean.
I get the
so I think that she's being pretty fair. I don't necessarily agree, because I think Erin is the one that's very much in the wrong. But you know, when it does come to her, she does take much stronger of a stance when it comes to having been called a slut, which, by the way, she should take a strong stance. That's fucking bullshit. And being called a social climber, just finding out about that today, which she has to reiterate, because let's not forget that, Erin, you tried to fucking gaslight her before.
God.
You knew that. That was 3 months ago. Come on.
Just say, yeah, I did say that. I'm sorry. I was feeling a certain way because you stood me up at dinner and I felt like a loser. And, you know, here we are. I wanted you to hang out with me and you didn't want to hang out with me. And that's why, that's one of the things that Jess will put in her burn phone. You know, I'm the only one who stood by you at that pathetic dinner. Because remember, that was before.
Oh my God, the catch dinner.
Sai and Bryn didn't show up. And either Jenna, you know, I don't know why Jenna wasn't involved, but Sai and Bryn did their own thing, and it was only Erin and Jessel. She's like, I'm the only one who fucking came to that pathetic little dinner.
Well, they went to
I don't know if she said pathetic, but you know what I mean? Like, she's like, here I am, the only one that actually came and hung out with you at this dinner that you wanted to plan, and here I am, the one that gets the most heat from you.
That's right. That's fucking right,
jotted
Jessel.
it down on her phone, baby.
Erin's been doing Jessel dirty. She has for like weeks and weeks and weeks now, and everyone's just been like, "Oh, haha, it's fine. Jessel's so silly. She's so delusional." Blah blah blah. But the reality is Erin is orchestrating this, and she's making Jessel the butt of the jokes.
Yeah,
and that's not fucking cool. When the reality is, we don't know shit about you either. Your most embarrassing thing is being embarrassed by your kids on a fucking flight. How novel.
Yeah. It's just so unrelatable. And
yes, she's very out of touch and very unrelatable.
If we can't relate to you, then we at least need to laugh at you, like a Ramona. And if I can't do either of those things, that to me is a diabolical housewife, which is what we have.
Yeah, she's a terrible housewife. You know, she is. She's a terrible housewife.
Tell me how you really feel.
And you know, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it's what I believe, and I agree. Look, Ramona. I respect anyone's opinion of Ramona, that she's incredibly problematic, that she shouldn't be on television, all of these things. However, I would be remiss and I would not be being honest if I didn't say that despite all of the problematic things, she did at least give comedy on her 13 years on the show.
Yeah.
You know, whether she should still be on a show or not, that's up for debate, and everyone is entitled to their own feelings. Sure. However, that is what made her a housewife that works for me.
Yeah.
That she added comedy to the mix. There was that delusional ridiculousness. She would randomly poop and leave it in the hallways on vacations. Like, you running with Sonia to find the best room in the house every time.
Yes.
I mean, it was comedy.
Yeah.
Erin gives zero comedy and all of the entitled delusion, and that's not the recipe that I want.
No.
That I want it more balanced.
Yeah. So she can't handle the heat again.
Once again.
And she leaves. Or she, let's have a real conversation.
Yeah. Well, not before there's what were you saying? The fuck you. No, fuck you. You're a fucking bitch.
You're a bitch. You're a bitch.
Shut up. You're a fucking bitch.
Oh, God.
I mean, but yeah, they get up. They go to have a real conversation.
A real talk.
Let's have a real conversation.
Let's have a real olive branch this time.
Wait, was it before or after they get up? I think it's before that Bryn leans over to Jessel and or Sai. Mm-hmm. It is. I think it's when they're yelling at each other, you're a bitch, no, you're a bitch. Uh-huh. And she's like, I definitely think Erin is lying for sure. Oh, like, Erin's lying for sure, but she's breaking down and I don't want to see her break down.
Yes, and she gives her a hug. And Sai's back there eating her popcorn. Erin, I don't know about them, but I love you. I love you, Erin.
I don't know about them. I think you're great.
She's like, thanks. Also, cry how you want to cry, but I didn't see any tears. Did you?
No, I saw theatrical crying.
I saw her making
actual tears.
I saw her making the face of how you cry, but I didn't actually see tears come out.
I saw the muscles in the face contort.
I don't
to a way
want
that
to
looked
judge
like
somebody on how they cry, but if I don't actually see water coming from your eyes, it makes me think that maybe you're putting on the act.
Yeah, it's up for debate.
The act of cry.
Also, it just dawned on me, there was a nice little parallel. Bryn turning to Jessel and saying, like, I think Erin's lying for sure, is also like when Bryn was talking about the IVF stuff and Erin leans over to, who was it? Was it Jessel?
It was Uba.
It was Uba, and being like, that's a weird lie.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They did. There was like a little parallel. I just kind of thought of that.
Oh, my God, they are. She's lying. Although one actually wasn't lying and one probably is lying.
Right. And this is also a perfect instance of karma's a bitch. Yeah. Because it was Bryn who Erin did that about the other day.
Yeah.
AKA a month ago in our lives, because this is the trip that will never end.
It won't ever end.
Right. So, okay. So they get up to go have a serious conversation and make this right. Yes. I mean, what do you think of this breakaway?
I think it was at the point where both of them were like, okay, we're over it. Let's move forward. But only one person took accountability. And that one person was Uba. I don't remember specifically what was said, but I do remember, like, Erin would bring up, like, well, you did this, like, you made me feel a certain amount of way or whatever, and it was like, I get it, I understand, I'm sorry, I get it. We got nothing from Erin.
Yeah. Well, she did. So they both kind of say that if they didn't love each other so much, they wouldn't have like had such big reactions, right? Mm-hmm. And Uba does call Erin out for like talking shit. Mm-hmm. And Erin tries to throw it back at Uba and be like, well, you talk shit too. And Uba's like, yeah, but I own it. Yeah, I own that I talk shit. Yeah. I admit it. You don't admit it. And it's like, it feels like pulling teeth for like 2 minutes until Erin finally, very like sheepishly, is like, fine, I talk shit. I admit it.
Yeah,
but that's not really, to me, taking accountability.
But then we get the dreadful cut to the chair. And we have to listen to Erin say, again, this is where I believe that Erin's trying so hard to be funny, and she's not funny. She says something like, I mean, yeah, I call Jessel fucking annoying, and I call Bryn a social climber. I mean, those are facts. Okay.
Oh my God, that's right.
How insufferable do you have to be?
It's just
like, she's trying to like come off like kind of off the cuff and like, those are facts though. You're not funny, and it's driving me insane. So her shit talking is like, yeah, I shit talk, but I'm just shit talking the facts.
But is it shit talking if it's true?
Yeah, that's essentially what she says. And I'm like, okay,
you're right. By the way,
off.
I forgot about that.
Also, another trigger.
Another
warning, a trigger, is Uba finally, when she's like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to cause, again, guys, I'm paraphrasing. I saw this like several hours ago. Like, I didn't mean to cause big issue, whatever. And instead of Erin taking that opportunity to be like, you know what, I'm sorry too, let's just fucking move past this. That would have been a normal thing to say. Instead, what Erin says, which is a fucking lie, because she is a liar. Dude, I didn't even care. I didn't even care about that. Oh.
Shut the fuck
You didn't care,
up.
Erin, about your sunglasses that you weeped about all day and mourned.
Literally.
And huffed and puffed and blew your little
Stomped
shoes off.
and-
Come on. Dude, I didn't even care.
I didn't even. It's okay.
Again, she's cool. She's a cool girl.
She's trying
She's the
too
cool
hard to
girl.
be cool, which is why I
didn't
know she
care.
was never the cool girl.
God.
That's the-
I guess she wasn't. I mean,
I don't think she was. I think that she tries so hard to, in adulthood, seem like she was the cool, effortless girl.
That's why she's
she
so
tries too
uncool.
hard, and she is so uncool.
Uncool like Luann.
She is uncool, like
Or-
old school countess, not like
Yeah.
current Luann, not crappy Lake Luann.
Don't be uncool.
To be cool. to be
Yeah, so those are my big
uncool.
takeaways. No apology, no accountability.
None.
I mean, listen, even if you can't muster up the words, I'm sorry, even if you don't believe that you're sorry, you couldn't at least, as a friend that you say that you actually love her, you can't muster up like, I'm sorry that, you know, I made you feel this way. I'm sorry that this obviously has ruined our day, and I'm sorry that I stressed you out. You can't even say stuff like that.
Right. It
This is
can't even
someone
be
you
it's not.
actually
It wasn't
love.
intended, but the effect was that it hurt your. It did whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for that. No, cannot.
I don't want friends like
One
that.
step too far. Neither
I
do
don't
I.
want friends like that at all.
No, me either. Well, so they bury the hatchet. They hug it
Yes,
out.
They hug.
They literally and proverbially hug it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we get to. Oh, we're getting ready for dinner.
Another eating scene.
wait. This is all eating scenes
Yeah.
and transition to eating scenes.
Yes,
Those
yes,
are all
yes,
that we
yes.
have on this trip.
Yeah.
And as from a practical standpoint,
Yeah.
I too appreciate
Real
it.
fast though,
Yeah.
I did like when Uba was like, let's pretend that we're still fighting.
Oh, and they come in and start yelling at each other.
That
That was comedy.
I liked it.
I'll take it.
I liked it.
I'll take that.
It didn't land because none of the women were like, wait, we thought we heard something, but we didn't know.
Honestly, it felt like the chef staff were the ones who were the
Yeah,
most
they're like,
concerned.
"Oh, God, here we go again."
More?
Yeah.
No. Let it end.
They're like, God damn it.
Get me out of here.
But yeah, I thought that was funny.
I'll take any comedy out of anything
Yeah.
surrounding Erin in any way, shape, or form at this point.
Yeah. Grain of salt, maybe.
But then Brynn goes to Jenna's room
she's wet.
in more ways than one. I mean, okay, here's my thing. In the first episode, I was kind of here for it. I thought it was funny, the flirtation.
You mean last week's episode when they were
No, the week before.
Oh yeah. When it started.
When it started.
Yeah.
I was here for it when it started.
Yeah.
Last week took it way too fucking far for me. I
Okay.
thought it was like crossing weird boundaries and like, okay, dial it back, Brynn. The little flirtiness at the top was fine, but like sucking the finger and shit, no. But then
Lauren felt that same way too.
I know she and I were texting about it. It was. I thought
I
it
was into it, so I don't know what that said about me.
Betsy. But this week, look, I'm wet in more ways than one. I just, Brynn's crass. Brynn is a little inappropriate with her word choices sometimes. But I guess my feeling is if Jenna doesn't give a shit and she doesn't seem overly uncomfortable with
Yeah.
it, then like, who fucking cares?
Well, that's where I'm at. Now, we are not Jenna, so we don't know what's really going on in her mind, but how it is being perceived
Yes.
to me, and also in the confessional, she doesn't seem bothered. It'd be
That's
one
true.
thing if in the confessional she's like, this is a little bit much, but
little
I'm just
uncomfortable,
going with
or-
it. I mean, they straight up ask her, like, can she handle you? And she's like, I guess we need to find out.
Yeah,
You
she's
know what I
playing
mean?
into it.
it's
So what
like,
the fuck
she's
do I
kind
care?
of playing into it. I just don't, and I think that she knows Brynn at this point, and she
Yeah.
knows that it's just kind of fun. So I'm not bothered by it. Now, I think it's a little bit much because I think Brynn's a little bit much. I think Brynn's a little bit over the top, right?
Right.
And it's like, how many jokes can we talk about being wet? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, don't ask Brynn that. She'll
get
test
it.
that theory.
I know we're here to like, okay, another one. We're like, okay, great. 3 hours
I
in.
just got out of the shower. I can make a wet joke.
Yeah.
I went into the hot tub. I can make a wet joke.
So it's just a little bit like tired.
Yeah, it's
in
a little overplayed.
sense, but I'm not so much bothered by it with Jenna because Jenna seems to be kind of reciprocating and just like kind of playing along. But yeah,
Yeah, I that's, she's into it. And in the confessional, I agree, would have been the place that if she had any feelings about it, she would have shared.
Yeah.
So whatevs. Let them have fun.
Yeah, and I feel like this is like the one part of Jenna that we get that she feels so self-assured of, right?
Yes.
Like she feels assured in like her sexuality. Now we don't really get to see it in a real way because the partner's not on the show, and now we know they broke up. But like, I feel like she's the most confident, kind of talking about that in a way.
Yeah, but I think that also just comes with maturity and age.
Well, right.
Yeah, I was like, but then I was gonna say, I mean, even though she only came out and but it's a decade ago at this point.
Well,
she's just more mature than all of these
that's
women.
why I think that like when Bryn is doing this kind of stuff, I think she just kind of takes it with a grain of salt. She's like, oh, whatever. It's fun, playful. She's not taking it very seriously.
Which it is. And, if someone sucked my finger, it would make me a little uncomfortable.
Yes, I understand.
But again, it's not me, so I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
There we go.
I
had feelings about it. Now I'm unconditioning those feelings.
Yeah.
It does not matter. So what happens next? Erin, that's right. She never actually takes accountability. Sorry, I just looked at my note and it said they ganged up on me in the hot tub when she tells Jenna. And I'm like, fuck off. They didn't gang up on you. Well, I mean, I guess they kind of ganged up on you, but take accountability. She can't do it.
No, she can't do it.
I feel like I'm the broken record of she can't take accountability, but just every time she's on screen, there's something she's not taking accountability for.
That's the whole thing. But then she realizes that, Jenna, this must be how you felt when we told you that you were a snob for flying first class.
Oh my God, yes. You mean when you, Erin, perpetuated this story in the delivery to all the other women?
By the way, thank God for that flashback. Guys, is she here? I just don't want her to hear me say this. Is she here? Is she here?
Seriously.
Okay, guys, the real reason, with a huge grin on her face, the real reason that Jenna didn't want to come with us was she didn't want to fly coach. And so I goes,
like us losers.
Yeah.
Yes. That was Erin doing that. She could have negated that entire interaction, that entire first night.
Yeah.
She is the instigator of all of this.
She is.
Oh, God, she drives me crazy.
Oh, she is.
She really does.
But yeah, she got ganged up on.
She got ganged up in the hot tub.
She's sore. She has to go down to dinner now. Again, another dinner. God,
another meal.
Maybe this is what's stressing Erin out. She's like, oh my God,
so much food.
There's so many meals.
What am I going to do?
God. But yeah, she's down there, and who's she with? Sai's down there, and
Sai
is it Jenna? No.
Well, Erin and Jenna, I think, are the last ones down. No,
because remember, Jessel's the last one, and that's the other theme of the episode. Apparently, everyone forgets about Jessel.
Oh, right.
Bryn's like, I forgot about Jessel.
That's right.
Sorry to jump back, but this reminds me when they were at the rum place, because Jessel was the only one that didn't get a drink. Right?
Oh, right.
To me, that's why I love Jessel, because this is a joke that lands for me. She goes, what? Am I blending in with the counter? Am I blending in with the table? I just thought it was so funny, because she's like, here I am, forgettable again. Can you see me?
Hello, I'm here. Hello.
That landed for me.
Right, and then they forget that she's not there. And I think it's her and maybe an Uba. I think those are the last two to come down.
Yes, it is.
That's what it is. And there, I had missed this before, but the Abe and the Grateful Dead and the heavy metal comment. I think
it was a flash.
It was a flash sideways. We never saw that originally.
I forgot about that term.
Right? We didn't see that in the episode.
No, we didn't.
Flash sideways.
Yeah. Oh, so that's right. I know Lauren's told me that before, but
it's when you do a flashback to a scene, but what you see wasn't in the original scene.
Right. We never seen it before.
It's unseen footage in a scene that you've already, or in a section that you've already seen before.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So that's what it was. Okay. Because when Sai is saying it, I'm like, wait, what? Heavy metal? And then, but I realized
it was a joke.
It was a joke.
An inside joke.
Really, I realized, yes. Or they're making fun of Jessel because Jessel
they're making
made
fun
it.
of,
yeah,
they're making fun of Jessel.
Poor Jessel.
Because then it clips. She goes, "Oh, I didn't realize he was a headbanger." I think that's what she said. A headbanger.
She's been a headbanger.
That was so funny. She goes, "Why? What?" She said something like, "How am I supposed to know what the Grateful Dead is?"
I mean, they're only one of the most famous bands in
privileged
the last 50 years.
She's too privileged.
She's too privileged for it. Her and her trust fund. God.
Again, that was another moment that I was like, you know what? I like that. Endearing.
Absolutely. And they bring up the burn book before Jessel comes. Mm-hmm. What is it? Sai that tells Erin that Jessel keeps notes on what everyone says.
And they're like,
she does what?
Well, how embarrassing.
Oh my God.
Whatever she says.
Honestly, here's the deal. I appreciate that this dinner, at least, was not like super long or super content heavy. Because I feel like this entire
episode,
trip,
yikes.
well, the last 3 episodes have just been a series of really long meal scenes.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of shit happens. Yeah. But also nothing happens.
I agree. And I'm glad that it looks like with the trailer that we're going to be back in New York.
Yeah, we're done.
I don't know if like maybe the first scene is going to be them packing, but I'm hoping that we're back in the city.
Look, I don't know for sure, obviously, but I would like to think, and I also, as an aside, hope and pray that next episode picks up with them back in New York.
I hope so too.
And we can get a little flash of them packing up as they're telling their husbands about whatever, like a little flash to the end of it. But that was their last night. We do not need to see wake ups. We do not need to see them leaving. We just need to see them waking on up in New York.
No, we want to see them individual for a while, I think.
Please.
Yeah, I mean,
get them away from each other.
Erin will be by herself because her husband's at the concert.
Yes.
So, oh yeah, because Sai's like, I'm getting back right in time for sex time.
But he might be tired. But he might be too tired. Well, God, in the next song we see.
I know.
How do you feel about it?
I know. It makes me just want to scream. It just makes me want to scream.
Well, we've known it's been coming since like episode 2.
What we're referring to is when they go on the double date, and it's Erin and Sai and the husbands.
It's gonna be
Abe
so bad.
and John. What's his name? I don't know.
I would say Pete. It's not Peter.
No.
David?
Whatever. David. And
David for 200.
Basically, they're like, what would you do if we didn't have sex for a year and a half?
I'd have an affair.
Really? Really?
Dude, really?
Even Erin's like, Abe. Like, that's gross to me. First of all, stop talking about it.
Why are we still talking about it? Why
are y'all having sex?
Great
Are
question.
y'all having sex? Why do you care so much about Jessel's sex life? I don't fucking understand.
I don't get it.
And y'all gloating about, oh, well, we're good because we are having sex. And if we didn't have sex, we'd
step out.
Affair. Is that supposed to make us feel better about your relationship?
I mean,
versus
seriously.
Jessel? I mean, Jessel's relationship is a disaster probably too. But I mean, good God, she's just leave
doing
her
the best
fuck
she can,
alone.
guys. She's putting on
Oh my
lingerie
God,
this
I
week
can't
and
believe
everything.
I'm such a Jessel stan now. I
Could
just
you have
can't
imagined the
believe
day?
It. No, because I was like, oh, Jessel. And
so
then like
I.
something turned.
She got really endearing.
Something clicked. I don't know what happened, but I love Jessel, and I need them to leave her the fuck alone about this. It's like gross.
This is the thread through the entire fucking season.
It's just
literally
it's such an overstep, and also it's none of your fucking business.
It's so juvenile,
and I bet it's the one thing out of I would be willing to bet this entire season. Probably the one thing she wishes she never said was that.
No question,
because maybe she brought it up thinking it would be relatable. Because I don't know, these women are mothers.
Right.
And maybe they could relate, but God knows.
No.
Jessel, baby, they're going to judge the fuck out of you.
And they're going to perpetuate this this narrative every single chance Erin gets.
I just feel sad for her. But yeah, we'll, talk about it ad nauseum.
It's never going to end.
In the next episode, I'm sure. But
yeah, and we get Jessel in her lingerie, which, again, another thing we've been building towards all season.
They didn't show it in this clip, but I think this is going to be the same clip where he's like, I need more champagne.
Oh, I guarantee you it fucking is.
Which is also, this is just going to be a sad episode.
It's going to be a bad one.
I just, God help us.
Poor Jessel. But the tide has turned, Look, at the beginning, I made the analogy that Brynn was like the new Sonia because of the sex positive.
Yeah.
But no, it's Jessel.
Mm-hmm.
Jessel minus this, Jessel with a sprinkle of Brynn, that is the Sonia archetype.
Yeah.
But the delusionalness, the endearing element of that delusion.
Yeah.
That to me rings classic Sonia Morgan.
Yeah.
The modern version.
Yeah.
Talking about yachts and shit and, after she's been divorced for over a decade.
And captains. They are the same.
But yeah.
Well, I think that's about it.
Made it through a supersized episode.
God, I don't even know how long we talked, but if you're still with us, thank you
very much.
So much. We always appreciate y'all sticking by us for the very long episodes, which now is every episode. So
yeah, that's
every episode
a norm.
I feel like every episode is like a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. They're like all 2.5, 3 hours, And
they all progressively get longer.
He's done pretty well for himself, so maybe we can keep that straight. Guys, we're just trying to be the Eras tour, but on the mics. Okay, maybe not as exciting, but 3.5 hours of content.
44 different ideas.
Yeah. Just, ADHD all over the place here.
Oh boy, ain't that the truth? But yeah, thanks for making it through,
Thanks for
guys.
stopping by, and since Laura's on here,
You got this.
Please like, subscribe, and comment, leave a review.
Ratings.
5-star
ratings.
5-star ratings, baby, on whatever platform you listen on.
Yeah.
But specifically Spotify. Because I think we're trying to pump up Spotify.
Yeah, and Apple.
Yeah,
We love Apple.
I love Apple.
Ratings too.
Yeah, I'm an Apple gal. But yeah, guys, leave us a little comment, hang out with us on Instagram, and donate a cocktail if you can.
Yeah, please. We all need some drinks after watching
We
these
are
women.
just like Bravo Celebrities, aka Lindsay. We will judge you for doing it, but we also want the cocktail. So thank you so much.
And we'll do it we'll do it judgingly without the judgment.
Yes. All right, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.